And we're back. Welcome, Chonko Comics and Nerd Culture. Um, Small but mighty comic room. And let's start off with Fit Check. I don't think I've shown this shirt before, but it's a classic Tales from the Crypt uh, stylized EC Tales from the Crypt type uh, comic cover. I don't think this is an actual comic cover. I've never seen it. But it's just kind of a representation of what they do with the Crypt Keeper and everything on the side. Um, So, I've known for a while that this video was coming, and I want to be diplomatic about how I do this. Um, but I still thought it was worth making a video about. Back in the summer, August, I started sending books to CGC. I hadn't before that. I had slabbed books, but I had never sent any off myself. And I'd also started looking into cleaning and pressing books, looking into starting on my own, learning how to do basic, dry cleaning and pressing of books, but then also finding a service that was reliable where I could send books that I wasn't comfortable working on, either books that I thought were high value or maybe beyond what my, you know, novice skill level was. Um, so I started off, I initially I inquired to see about Comic Spa, see if he would be interested in looking at some of the books that I had and maybe sending them off. Um, but I didn't hear back. I think uh, we don't have any mutual connections or anything like that. I think he's doing a really small operation. I I think he probably just doesn't have time to respond to all the people who reach out to him. So I understood. Um, then I was watching a stream, um, Comics 10 stream, and they were at a convention, and there was what appeared to be a really big service. We had a booth set up at this uh, convention on the East Coast, and interviewed the guy who was in charge of this, I guess, company operation. Seemed really knowledgeable, and I was really interested right away. I was like, wow, this might work. Looked at the website, actually reached out to him, talked to him, very friendly, nice guy. I'm not going to mention the service. I'm not going to mention uh, him or his company. Um, but I decided what I'd like to do is send off a handful of comics, some comics that I thought where I was pretty comfortable could be improved with a clean and a press. Then there are a couple comics that were real challenges where I had no confidence that these books were going to be that great, but were still worth doing, I thought. And then a few comics that I got at a 50-cent bin at a local antique shop, um, that were only worth pressing if they received like a 9.8. But I thought they looked pretty good, and maybe they could be. Um, so in parallel, I had some comics that I thought were candidates for a 9.8 or 9.6 that I sent off to CGC right away, and I sent another box off in late August to this cleaning and pressing company, and um, yeah, and then I kind of waited. The I thought it was a little bit expensive, and uh, the time estimate looked to be like a little over 2 months to have your books back, um, or almost 3 months. I think that was the time estimate. It's a bit murky. Um, so yeah, I sent these books, and uh, I waited, and let me clarify up front. This is not Ron from Palmbeachpresser. Like, uh, I use Ron now, and he's great. None of this has anything to do with him, but this is what led me to uh, using Ron instead. Um, it's this completely separate company that I only tried once. Um, anyway, I mean, it dragged on for quite some time. It got to be a little over 2 months. I checked on the books. through email. They assured me that they were working on the books, and you know, it took quite a while. It was like over 3 months to get the books back. Um, right before it was like kind of the, reaching 3 months, I was like, hey guys, what's going on? This is, I'm supposed to have the books back like right now. They're like, oh yeah, we'll have them to you, uh, by the end of the weekend, or something like that, or by the weekend, and reach into the next week. And then eventually they said, okay, your books are ready. They're ready to send off to CGC. And they sent me images of the books. And um, there were a couple of issues that I saw right away. One comic had a stain on it when I sent it in. It's one of the comics that I wasn't really that confident was going to improve that much. But instead of it being cleaned, it had been smeared, kind of like all over the cover. And I asked about it. I was like, "What is that?" And they're saying, "Well, no, it's actually improved. It's just kind of the photo." Which I was like, "Oh, okay." But then there was another book. This was the first Doctor Strange in his own title. So after Strange Tales, turns over to Doctor Strange, and it was in really good shape. This is a comic I got uh, from Bry's Comics. It was part of the Wilbur collection. If you go and take a look, it's this guy who had this really huge comic collection of Marvel comics through like 70s, 80s, 90s, and I thought it was in really good shape, but it was damaged in the photo, and they showed me before and after photos. I pointed out, look, in the before photo, this is not damaged, and clearly the color has rubbed, or almost like a tape pull or something on the front cover. Something's happened to this in the process. They're saying no. Again, the first, you can't really see it in the first photo, and it's more clear in the second photo. And I said, I don't think that's the case, but I wasn't going to fight about it because I hadn't seen the book myself. Anyway, these books get sent off, in November, and I just got them back now. This is minus two books. There are two books that are in the vintage tier, so this Doctor Strange isn't in here. But the one where it was kind of smeared is. Um, in the meantime, they sent me a survey, just customer satisfaction survey, which I filled out honestly, and I said, I think it took a little bit of time. Um, I'd also found out that while my books were there, they were working on a huge order for an auction house. Uh, Big books. I saw this, before my books were finished, and what I believe happened was they had deprioritized my comics and prioritized the books that they were working on for this huge auction, and um, obviously it's a lot more money, I'm sure, and I would do the same thing, and I would even understand if they like reached out to me and said, "Hey, look, man, we have this huge thing. We're running a little bit behind. Here's $10 for your trouble, whatever." I don't know. I would have been more understanding, but it seems like they were denying that there was any delay, which there was, and it seemed to me what happened was my books were deprioritized all the way into the end of like what the time estimate was, and then they hurried up and did my books, and there were these couple of issues as a result. One being damaged in the pressing process. This is my belief. I can't prove that. I'm not going to swear in court that happened, and I'm not going to call out the company because I can't prove that this happened. The owner reached out to me and said, "Hey, I saw your survey," and he's like, "Normally we get like all tens. What happened?" Put it out, and he kind of responded with it wasn't like yeah, sorry or anything. It was like, "Oh no, that's not what happened." It was real defensive, and um, I just wrote back. I was like, "Look, I can't prove it. I'm not asking you for anything. I'm not asking for any money or anything like that. I just wasn't impressed. I thought it took too long for the price I was paying, and I really believe that book was damaged." And I pointed out this kind of smeared thing. He said, "Well, actually, for the kind of smeared stain, this was cosmetics. Somebody had put cosmetics on that comic, so when they were trying to clean it, it wasn't possible. It did smear. And this is the first I had heard of that. So I was like, oh well, I understand that now. But when I first inquired about it, nobody said anything. Anyway, that happened, and they sent the books off to CGC. All the modern books have returned, and I've already peeked. I already see what these are. But let's look at them just to see the modern books. Again, there are 2 vintage books, including the Doctor Strange, that are not included. Those take quite a while longer. So I got the box open. Again, hauling this box out of the huge CGC packaging thing here. And yeah, these are again, weight lift with these things. This is kind of the huge packaging. It's almost like a clamshell packaging kind of thing that they use, and that's upside down. I had a 50% chance of getting it right, and I got it wrong. So, okay, so we'll go from this end. So the first is an X-Men key that I had in my collection for many years, and I thought had some promise for the clean and a press. And this is X-Men number 136, Landra appearance, and there's a President Jimmy Carter cameo in this, in a 7.5. I thought this was going to do a little better. I got to admit, there are some issues, like one of the corners has some issues. Now that I look at it, maybe that's fair. I do see some issues with the corners, and boy, it looks like there's still a stack increase in there to me. That I think should have come out in the press. But yeah, it is what it is. It still has some value in a 7.5, but I thought it was going to do a little better. I got to be honest. Then we have Moon Knight number 1 in a 9.6. Bill Sienkiewicz art, and this first Moon Knight in his own series from the 80s. This I think is pretty good. Part 1 of the origin of Moon Knight. That's kind of what I thought this would be. After a clean and a press, I thought it was going to be a 9.6 or 9.8. So happy with that. I think boy, there's some spine ticks in there still. Yeah, there are non-color breaking spine ticks that I see. I think my man Ron could have done better. That's what I think. Then a Punisher number 1. This was first in the Punisher limited series from the 80s on a 9.4. Again, boy, that looks good to me, but there are some non-color breaking spine ticks that I see. I would have thought would have come out in the press. Maybe not. I don't see color breaks in this, so I don't. It seems like you could. Yeah, there's almost like a stack increase. There is some color rub on the back, which nobody can do anything about. No comic presser can do anything about that. Still in 9.4, it has some value. I'll probably be able to sell that. Then this is Ghost Rider Series 2, number 1, and that is the first Dan Ketch's Ghost Rider, first appearance of Death Watch, and Kingpin makes an appearance in a 9.2. Again, I think I've owned this book since it originally came out, so it's, this book has been through a lot. There are some color breaking spine ticks on this, which no presser can do anything about that. Once you have color breaks, it kind of is what it is. So 9.2 is probably about as good as that can get. So I think the presser probably did, the cleaning and pressing company did the best they could with that book. Uh, this is the one where there was the stain on the back, and it had issues. I didn't expect big things from this book, and didn't get big things from this book. But this is Marvel Spotlight number 32, first appearance of Spider-Woman, and we can look. There's a tear on the back that I see. I don't think I noticed, but if you can see, let's look. It's hard to see, but it's just generally there was this kind of staining here. And I mean, it's definitely lessened, but it's smeared further around. And again, you can see it's almost like a pink. And there's a spine roll to this that was never fixed. Wow. The spine roll was kind of the big issue on this, and I thought that the spine roll could be fixed. Maybe it can't be fixed. Maybe this is as good as this gets. But yeah, this comic pressing company assured me that they would be able to fix this spine roll. It is not fixed. I don't think that the grade would improve that much with the spine roll fixed, but again, disappointing, and it really confirms my reasoning going to Ron at Palmbeachpresser rather than this other company that did these. Then I had 3 books that I got out of a 50-cent bin at my local antique shop. It's actually a side note on that. I actually I've rented a glass case at this antique shop near me, and I sell comics there, and other things, collectibles and stuff. Things that I don't think would sell well on eBay, but maybe if you saw them in person, they're maybe a little better. And yeah, but this back before then, I had gone through these comic bins and found these. This is a comic in a 9.8. It's worth sending in for grading. If it's not a 9.8, it is not worth grading. But I had 3 of them that I thought were very good and could come back a 9.8 with a press. And this one did. So Ragman number 1, first issue. This is the second series of Ragman, so it's not a first appearance. But it is cool artwork, and yeah, I think this goes for about $100 in a 9.8. So worth doing the cleaning, pressing. Although I think this was just pressed, and sending it off, and then grading. You make on a 50-cent comic, you could make a little bit of money. So there's a second copy of it. Again, 9.8. Presser did their job. This had just really kind of stack increases and stuff to it, so well done. And white pages, exactly what you want to see from 1991. So great with that. Great with kind of like the simple stuff. And then the third one, though, which I thought was about the same, came back to 9.6. So in a 9.6, what I'm probably going to do, and this is kind of funny, I'm going to probably put this in the glass case at the same antique shop I bought it from for 50 cents. And I'll probably put it up for right around what's going to be a break-even point for me. I'm going to probably put it up for $35, $40, something like that, which would be about the money that I have into it, I guess. Yeah, so that's kind of how that went. But yes, completely confirms, what as I've said in many of these, that I really recommend Palmbeachpresser. And if you have a question about the specific company I used for these, where I had these issues in this semi-drama, I guess, reach out to me directly, and I'll tell you exactly who it is. I'm just not going to put them on blast on the internet. It could lead to all kinds of things. I don't know. It could even lead to legal trouble, I guess. If they wanted to dispute or sue me or something about it, so I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to say their name, but I would tell someone, person to person, I would give my opinion. So, yeah, that was the CGC submission. I have quite a few CGC submissions coming back here. Some bigger books that I sent in that are coming back, and then some other submissions where it was like pre-screens. So we'll be doing more CGC submission stuff. And then I got a couple things from eBay. Might as well talk about them now. Another Mark Spears cover that didn't make it in time for the Mark Spears episode. Uh, Deadly Tales of the Gunslinger. Um, Another Mark Spears, classic Mark Spears style. Those great colors and kind of like almost like horror kind of thing. The Spawn Gunslinger, and then whatever this creature is, ghoulish creature, uh, begging not to be shot and will no doubt be shot. Then this is a Batman New 52. Uh, this is an issue 1, but it is an Akira homage. Akira being like one of the most famous Japanese comics, and he kind of he has a cover that's like this, but here you see the Joker with kind of the bloody mallet, uh, walking to some like Joker motorcycle or something. This is amazing. This cover is amazing. I'm going to get. I got 2 of these, and I think one of these is going to get slabbed, and the other is going to stay raw. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think this is a 1 of 200 as well. So it's it's a uncommon issue. It was done for East Side Comics, specifically for them. So yeah, I thought that was amazing. It took a couple months to get. I pre-ordered that, and I think it's fantastic. One of the better Batman covers I've seen recently. Everybody loves Joker covers, right? And then the last thing I have, said before, I watch the Alan the Comic Collector Geek. I watch his channel and his streams, uh, and he'll show books sometimes that really get me interested, and has led to me collecting certain things specifically because I saw either him or Steven. I think he goes by either Steppo or Klepto, and they have a lot of books that either I haven't seen before or I immediately think are cool. One of the series that Alan's collecting, I started collecting. I have, I think this is the third one I have of this now, but this is Crimes by Women. This Crimes by Women number 14 from Fox Features Syndicate from 1950. So it's just a series that's kind of dedicated to like actual crimes like that were committed by women. And this is like these women are breaking out of a jail cell and they got the guard all tied up, and it's supposed to be kind of provocative. I think for the time it is, but it's so crazy. Like that there was an entire series called Crimes by Women, and they're always kind of like they always kind of make them dress provocatively and stuff. It's supposed to be kind of titillating. I think it's amazing. I got this off eBay, but if you look for comparables, um, this is, from what I can tell, this is the only graded copy of this specific issue 14, that's sold in quite a while. There's some raw copies that have sold. So this is very uncommon. It's you're always reluctant to say rare when it comes to comics because there are very few comics that are really rare. But this is very uncommon, and I was really happy to be able to get it. Uh, it was up for um, I got it. I don't know. I think it was about $70 or $80 off what the asking price was. So I was happy with that, and I think I got a deal. And yeah, I'm happy to have it. I'm collecting mostly Golden Age stuff right now. So that's what I have for this Saturday. I have a couple other videos going to be working on, and for those I need to increase my editing skills. So I'm kind of messing with those right now, and gotta up my editing game. What's coming is going to do a specific episode on Crime Suspense Stories number 22, and go through the story on that, and show some homage covers. I've got like 4 or 5 homages to that. And I'm also going to start doing like a weekly eBay segment, like what I'm selling on eBay, and what I sold during the week, and what I put up for sale during the week. This will be hopefully informative, and people will like it, and also a bit self-serving, where it's like, hey, you want to buy a comic? I got comics. I'm selling them. And some of these are things that I've either sent off to Ron at Palmbeachpresser and graded, or I've pressed myself, improved a little bit, and you put in a little bit of work, a little bit of money, and hopefully you make a little bit of a profit, and that I immediately, the profit that I make off of any of these comics goes right into comics. None of this is going into like sitting in a bank account somewhere. It's just going to pay off these things. And over the past month and a half, I've only started selling comics for like a month and a half, and I think the overall sales have been somewhere around $2,200. That's not all profit though. I mean, that it's maybe about half that might turn out to be profit, but side hustle just to offset some of the silly amounts of money I'm spending on comics. So yeah, I hope you like that. Hope you stayed tuned through the rest of it after the drama of the presser thing. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe is kind of the biggest thing. If we can up some subscribers, and if you hit the little bell, then I can let you know when there's a new video. That's always helpful too. And we'll get Choco the dog on some more episodes. Although nobody really liked that episode. Not very many people watched. It looks like only my friends or people I know were into that one. I was surprised. I thought more people liked dogs, but I guess you all hate puppies. I don't know. You like comics and hate puppies. Let's deal with that. So, or go back and watch the other episode and you can see the dog. Anyway, cheers for now. Hope the rest of your weekend is great, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.